Alright, gents, let's face it. In 2026, everything on the internet is changing. Especially when it comes to content creation, social media, and online business, it can start to feel like you're doing everything right, but absolutely nothing is working. Right now, it can feel nearly impossible to create authentic content that actually converts. It feels like getting consistent views that turn into cash flow has just become a game of luck, and worst of all, you can't beat that nagging feeling that nobody actually cares about your offer. But when you look for answers, you were told that you just need to do more volume, volume, volume. You're told that you need to create more content, spend more hours, have more conversations, because at the end of the day, it's always a numbers game. But the truth is that volume won't save you because you are fundamentally playing the game by the old rules. And look, I know every single year people make the best strategy for 2026 videos, but this is the first time that we're seeing a real tangible shift. Just over the past year, we've seen a ton of content creators either quitting or getting dusted by the competition and falling into complete irrelevance because the tactics that they were using just don't work anymore. And while everyone is screaming from the rooftops that content creation, coaching, and info products are dead, there is a group of creators that look absolutely untouchable. And the truth about the largest content creators in the world that you know and love is that they aren't focused on models, tactics, tips, and tricks. They've built the only thing that you can actually own as a creator: their brand. All because they've made the leverage shift, where rather than focusing on what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks and months, they've stacked up their work to be able to help them compound their results long term. And in 2026, with the rise of what I call the leverage brand, you have the opportunity to do the exact same thing and compound your efforts into consistent and real results. You have the choice to build your dream business that not only makes your work fun and fulfilling, but makes it feel like you're just playing, doing what you love. And most importantly, gives you real freedom and autonomy so that you can do the fun stuff that makes life worth it. And how do I know that's possible? Because over the past 14 months, not only have I been the man behind the camera, building brands and businesses to multiple six figures in the bank and hundreds of thousands of followers, but I've been able to help other creators do the exact same thing inside my Growth Accelerator and private community Leverage Accelerator. This is the first episode of a 6-part mini-series in which I'm going to be giving you the lens that I've not only used to help other creators grow their brands, but exactly how I'm doing this myself. My goal in this mini-series is to give you everything you need to be able to launch, pivot, or scale your leverage brand to your next 10K a month milestone. But most importantly, do it in a fun and fulfilling way with good people. Because guess what? This is your life and you can choose what you want to do. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down why the rules of the game have changed and how we can apply timeless principles to crush it in the next season of the creator economy. And by the end of this video, you will have built the backbone of your leverage brand so that you can make the next leap in your business. So let's go ahead and take it to the whiteboard. Right, guys, so I'm guessing a couple of you are wondering who this charming young chap on your screen is. Well, my name's Shaq, and 2 years ago, my life looked completely different. I started off in the 9 to 5 being an art and history teacher, and the second that I got into it, I realized that the 9 to 5 just wasn't it for me. I always grew up hating authority, and so I started learning SMMA. I was a freelance photographer, videographer, and I did creative projects for a bunch of businesses in my area. And once I got a sniff of this, I was hooked on starting my own business because I just couldn't deal with the authority that came from a 9 to 5. But unfortunately, I didn't know what I didn't know, and in 2023, I had to concede because I just did not succeed with my social media marketing agency. And so ended up going back to university, but I ended up hating what I was doing every single day. And I realized that I was basically just teeing myself to go back into the 9 to 5 that I hated so much. And so I made the bold and brazen decision in 2024 to drop out and get into online sales, more specifically remote closing. I was still in my little shoebox apartment trying to make all of this work, but it was at this time that I made my intro to content creation by starting a podcast with one of my best friends, Luca, at the time. But after months and months of persevering with sales and content, I was able to land myself a really good sales position working with Mike Versteel. Now, in my sales career, I was pretty successful. I was able to generate 600K of revenue in just my first 6 months of working with Mike and the rest of the team. And this enabled me to get a mentorship under Cole Gordon. And so in my sales career, I'd progressed from being just an entry-level appointment setter to being a business owner in just 7 months. And I was able to do this by being surrounded by awesome, awesome people. But very quickly, I realized that sales had been an out to university. It wasn't really something that I saw myself doing for the rest of my life. But then I got given the opportunity in 2025 to step up into business and brand leadership. And in 2025, with just a team of 4, we were able to fully transform Mike's company that I'd started selling for. We took the company from running at 45K a month in the red, so in the negatives every single month, to running our new profitable team at 39K a month. Fully in profit. But after this point now, one of my best friends and brothers, Mike, decided to step back, and I basically ended up running the company solo at 20K a month. But there was one pretty big problem. See, we had built the entire company off of complex guru funnels and outdated info product systems. And because of this, we were stuck in a complete lockout. See, if we had a really big team that was meant to run this type of company, we had less profit. And as it scaled down to just being me, I constantly felt like I was running on the hamster wheel. I was literally trying to hack ads and landing pages 24/7, and I was stuck on sales calls with people who didn't know me, closing to just put food on the table and keep clothes on my back. And worst of all, none of this company really felt like it was mine. I felt like I was just working a 9 to 5 again, but I was way too scared to leave this vehicle. I'd basically ended up in the worst spiritual, physical, and mental shape of my entire life. And I literally couldn't smile for months on end. It was absolutely unthinkable for me to find any joy from life. And I felt like my entire world was completely collapsing in on me. But fortunately, that's not the end of the story. See, at this point, I decided that I was going to take one last swing and put everything I had into working with a secret mentor who I'm going to be breaking down later in this video, so stick around, and also implementing the one unique system that I'm going to be sharing with you right now. And by doing this, in just a matter of a couple months, I've been able to create my dream life and business. Because now, not only am I in the best mental, physical, and spiritual shape that I've ever been in my entire life, I am making the most profit that I've made in business, and my work genuinely empowers me. I love what I do every single day, and I get to wake up working with absolutely amazing clients. Because not only have I done this for myself, I've helped the other legends that I've worked with do the exact same thing. Guys like Rami, who's absolutely massive in the fitness coaching space. Now, the thing about Rami is he's no beginner to the online space. He's already hit multiple 5-figure months in the past. The main focus with him is now helping him starting to build leverage and get his time back. So rather than taking sales calls, closing without sales calls, rather than having to constantly be checking in with clients and working with them 24/7. The main goal for him is to create systems to be able to help him buy back his time. And all of this while adding 10K a month leaps within his business. Now, while he's been in a bit of a consolidation phase, the goal has been preserving and building his brand further and further up without losing the authentic feel that he has. And I've been the person helping him build out the entire architecture behind all of his projects and also advising him on his content direction and ideation at a really high level. Past him, we also have Jack. Jack was literally a coach for baseball players, and he was at the verge of absolute burnout. He didn't feel aligned with his offer, and he wanted to do something more aligned with what he wanted to do. Now, the thing about Jack is that there are some slightly bigger changes, and this is about a complete relaunch and a brand pivot. And at this point in Jack's journey, we've been building new content angles and helping him really specify, niche down, and be able to attract dream clients that he actually enjoys working with so that he doesn't get burnt out again. Again, emphasis on fun. And even though he had a slightly different starting point, this is what happens after you build months and months of leverage. And rather than telling you exactly what they did and trying to give you some tactics here, we're going to go a little bit deeper, and I'm going to give you the why of how they did things, and exactly how all of this applies in 2026. Because you see, in 2026, the rules of the game are fundamentally changing. You may have heard that info products and coaching are dead, but it's only partially true. See, all markets move through predictable stages of awareness and saturation. This is absolutely nothing new to us. But everybody's calling this the max exodus, the end of info products, the end of online education, but couldn't be further from the truth. And the reason why we know this is we can take a look at legendary copywriter Eugene Schwartz's 5 stages of market awareness. If we start off at the very top, stage number 1, very early markets. Nobody knows you. And when nobody knows you, basically just saying what your product does is enough to sell it. This is when nobody knows about the problem and nobody knows about the solutions being offered. But then you move into stage number 2, where people have picked up on this and competitors arrive. When you have competitors arrive, that's when you find that you're going to need to start making bigger claims as to what you can do. So rather than just saying what you do, you have to justify what you do is better than other people because there is a bigger claim to it. Which leads us into stage number 3. In stage number 3, the market starts getting just a little bit skeptical. And when the market starts getting skeptical, the differentiator here and what you have to do is explain your mechanism. And I personally think we very recently left number 3 just a couple years ago. And the reason why I say that is because if we break down what step number 4 of market saturation is, the competitors that you had earlier start copying your mechanism that was supposed to be uniquely yours. And what ends up happening is we end up in stage 5, We are in this right now. The biggest show for this is everybody is exhausted by claims altogether. See, it's no longer enough to say what you can do for people, why your mechanism is different, or even why you're technically the best at what you do. None of that stuff works anymore because people are absolutely fed up with everybody saying the exact same thing. And now you may be wondering, Shaq, if everybody's tired of claims, then what do we do? Well, when everybody's tired of claims, the only differentiating factor is your brand. When everybody has made the same claim over and over again, the person who the claim comes from is the only differentiator. See, people crave the sense of belonging that they get from joining a tribe with a mission. And aspirational identity change, authenticity, and community matters way more than just your product or what you're selling. And we're at the point now where all of the subpar information and everybody who's trying to create copy-paste courses is getting absolutely replaced by ChatGPT. And so the key here is in understanding that yes, people crave these things. You still have to have a good product, but a good product won't be able to stand without having a really solid brand behind it. Because again, people look to aspirational identity change, authenticity, a tribe they can turn to, and a real community that they can align with. And this is further proven by a carousel that Adam Mosseri, the CEO of Instagram, dropped just this New Year's Eve on exactly what's going on with the future of content and content creators in 2026 and beyond. And while he spoke a ton about AI, I want to point out one specific slide that caught my attention, where he said authenticity is becoming a scarce resource, driving more demand for creator content, not less. The bar is shifting from can you create to can you make something that only you can create? And we're drawing emphasis to that. Can you make something that only you can create? See, in this new era, the major differentiator that's going to help you succeed is how unique you are. And I'm going to ask you to hold on to this thought of creating something that only you can create, because if we take a look at another massive thought leader in the AI and tech world, Mo Gaudat, the ex-CEO of Google X, which was their entire AI development project, he said the most valuable skill in today's world isn't learning AI or anything specific, it's adaptability. What was once a chessboard is now a squash court. This is super, super powerful imagery here because we can see that there is a clear trend. In these unprecedented times, the only certainty that you can have is in absolute uncertainty. The only thing that you can know right now is that you don't and won't know what to do. But there are three key and timeless skills that you need to possess to be able to survive the next evolution of the market. And those three, in order, are agency. You need to want this. You need to want to make a real change. You need to be authentic. People want to work with people. You need to be uniquely you because being different is better than being better. And thirdly, you want to be adaptable. You want to keep things simple so that you can change fast. This is not only how you crush in 2026, but this is how you future-proof yourself for what's coming in the next 2 to 3 to 5 years, because they are very, very uncertain. And anybody who says that they know exactly what's happening is wrong. Nobody can really predict where we're going to be, but the biggest winners are the ones who are going to have these three simple traits. And we can take a look at a couple of the thought leaders, some of the creators that you know and love. For example, Iman Gadzhi, your Alex Hormozi, your Ali Abdaal. The key shift that we are seeing moving into this next period, since we have the highest level of market awareness that we have had in info products and coaching in general, is that you're not a guru. People just aren't stupid. You can't treat people like idiots. Value-based content, where you're just giving value out, where you're showing people how to do stuff, doesn't work anymore because of $20 a month AI services. Surface level information is super, super easy to get. And in a world where people want to work with people, you have to be the single best person to work with. That's really it. Because you are a guide, you are not a guru. And we're seeing this massive disconnect with the authorities because the gurus are mostly unrelatable to us. And if you're watching this and you're anything like me, then you probably sucked at following authority as it was. And you need a way to play by your rules. So if you don't recognize with the gurus, then why are you trying to become one? And this leads me to some of the biggest lessons that I learned from my secret mentor. And newsflash, he was also a guide. His name, Tom Youngs. Now, Tom is an absolute legend in the space. While he's also been very big on the mass extinction info, and how AI is going to be taking out a bunch of the absolutely trash coaches, there's one thing in specific that I'm going to niche down on in his philosophy. The key that Tom always harps on about is that you want to create an unrivaled world-class experience and get undeniable results. Because when you mix those two, you're the guide. And rather than just having people come and work with you for 3 to 6 months and dumping them, you get to build long-term with really, really awesome people. And so the question now arises, how do we combine everything that we have so far? The level 5 market maturity, the shift to authenticity, agency, and adaptability, as well as becoming a guide rather than being a guru. At this point, you have to understand that the truth about building in 2026 is that no single system or tactic is actually going to save you. See, the easy thing for people to tell you is that, using a specific funnel or a flywheel or a strategy is what's going to change everything for you. But the truth is that even some of the concepts that we've discussed in this video won't actually work if you don't know how to pull all of this together. The devil really is in the details, and that's why this is a 6-part miniseries. But you have to learn what is at the core of what makes people buy in the first place by using the data. And luckily for us, somebody's already done that research for us, a lovely multi-billion-dollar company named Google, where they asked one simple question: what does it take for someone to buy from you? And so they went away and they looked at about 20 years of actual industry research to see what it actually takes for somebody to transact with you. And they came up with the 7-11-4 rule, where somebody needs to consume 7 hours of your content, have 11 individual touch points with you, over 4 different platforms. These are the boxes that somebody actually needs to tick off to be able to buy from you. And I think we can say with confidence that lead to close is actually dead, not education. Phoning somebody immediately as you get their contact details and trying to close them on the spot is a lot harder because things have just gotten a lot more sophisticated. So instead of trying to hack the system, the question is, what happens when you take the very best of everything? 7-11-4, you take the sales and you take everything that's worked in the past. And this brings me to the foundation of what I call the leverage branding backbone, where rather than you being the hero of the story, we are playing the game of leverage by making the audience the hero of the story. And how we play this game is right here. Super simple. Starting from the very far left, what we start off with is a platform. And on a platform, what we want to do is get attention. When we have enough attention, we get followers from that attention. Now, once we get followers, that's the next step up. We get followers. The goal is to have them spend time with you, spend time on brand. And when people spend time with you and people actually understand your philosophy, it's super clear and you are unique enough, they see enough of them within you, then they'll be wanting to spend even more time within your specific universe because they buy into you as a person. And this is when they become leads. Now, in our scenario and in our context, a lead is simply somebody who has given you their contact details. And all that we want to do in this next stage is give people what they want and allow them to spend more time with you. But as they spend more time with you, shift their ideas and their beliefs to what your core philosophy is and exactly how you can help them. And once again, you simply let them take the next step on their own by giving them the opportunity to transact with you and become a customer. Now, a customer is simply somebody who pays us a low-ticket trust transaction. They're somebody who we do not commit all of our time and resources to. That's what a client is, but they're simply showing you that they trust you and they're interested in working with you. And now, when they're at the highest point of being interested in working with you and they fully understand your philosophy, you've changed their beliefs and ideas, the goal is to simply invite them to take the next step and become a client. Now, clients are people who you commit your time and resources to, you help them on a much deeper level. You deliver for these clients to help them become case studies. Super simple. This is the entire journey that somebody's going to take from beginning to end. And I really wish somebody just gave this to me when I was starting off in business because this is relatively timeless. And this is the type of journey that you want the heroes of the story to take. But now the question comes, how do we actually implement this? How do we help people go on this hero's journey? How can we use the different tools that we have at our disposal to be able to create a real leverage brand rather than just get followers on a single platform? The question is, what is the vehicle that we use? And I like to explain this in 4 super simple steps by using what I call the leverage brand engine. And how this works, starting off at the very top, is we want to fascinate people to get their time and attention. We then want to give people what they want and give them the ability to ascend to become leads, to give us their contact details, and change their frame of reality by presenting new ideas to them. We want to put them in a new frame where we change the way that they see the world and see their problems in general. After we frame them and shift their ideas, we want to give them the opportunity to become customers and invite them to work with us, becoming clients, after which we build with them. Building, other people like to say delivering. I like to think of it as building because it's just so awesome to think of the prospect of working with awesome people and building really cool things. And when you build with them, they become really awesome case studies that you learn from and feed back into the system to fascinate more people, to get more time and attention, and so on and so forth. And now that you understand this one simple and unique system around leverage branding, let's go ahead and build out your minimum viable brand. Right, team, this is an entire overview of how we build your minimum viable brand. So we start off at the very top where we want to fascinate people. We want to get their time and attention. And for this, we use your unique post on a short form platform. And to be able to really succeed with this, we need to create your unique formula, which is what is your value proposition? What actually makes you different from other people? And how do you contribute to the conversation that people are already having and uniquely solve problems? Secondly, micro storytelling. See, I know so many people who try and get into content and they have amazing personalities, but they just don't know how to tell stories in a way that people can pay attention to and actually listen to what they have to say. You need to understand how to present your ideas in a way that resonates with other people, and we're going to be going through that in about episode 4 of this mini-series. And thirdly, your infinite idea engine. Ideas are the heartbeat of any content, and you need to be able to source really good ideas consistently and be able to execute on those ideas to be able to crush it with making your content and actually fascinating people by being unique. We then take the next step up and allow people to become leads by using what I call ManyChat magnets. This is where we turn people into leads because we can both collect their contact details, they will give you their contact details to take the next step up, and we can also send them to anywhere that you want to. And this leads us to the next stage, which is frame. We want to change their ideas. And we do this by using your cult branding bridge. Hell of a name, I know. But the key here is we want to give people the opportunity to spend time with you and become a real cult brand. And we do this by using email list insights. And so we give people the opportunity to learn more from you and communicate with you in a more exclusive channel, which is your email list. The email list really is the heartbeat of keeping all of this running because it is your direct beeline into somebody's inbox. In addition to using your email list, which is already very powerful, we want to give them the opportunity to spend time with you on long form content. And this is how you build long form leverage. So you're going to want to create content for a long form platform like YouTube or Spotify so that people can really learn your unique belief system. And the glue that holds all of this together is storytelling, using your story to relate with people. This means the good, the bad, the crazy, the dark, all of it. This is what helps us build real cult brands because it pushes the wrong people away. It just pulls the right people in. And at this point, you have a real universe that people can spend time in with you that already within itself starts compounding a ton of leverage for people to want to take the next step and work with you. But we now want to give them the opportunity to become customers. And we do this by giving them BTC value magnets. BTC literally just means behind the curtain. And what we do is we give them value by actually just inviting them to see what we're doing with our current clients. Absolutely revolutionary, right? So you're not creating any crazy magnets for people that you don't know. You're not creating any crazy guides. You're not creating any video bundles or packages for them to use. You're simply giving them resources that you've already created for your clients who you are already dedicating your time and resources to. And in addition to this, we use what I call the leverage stack. We're going to be going through this in episode 3, but this is basically a single system to take somebody from just being a consumer in your universe to actually working with your highest level clients without creating a ton of different groups, communities, etc., keeping it super, super streamlined and allowing people to take that next step seamlessly. And at this point, once we've built enough trust, we want to start inviting people. And we invite them by using what I call common sense closing. See, with my sales background, I'm pretty confident in saying that you don't need to sell people using the high ticket sales tactics that everybody tells you about. Because in a system like this, you've already built so much leverage to sell for you. You're not just going to be on the phone with people who have no idea who you are or what you do. And exactly how we do this is by using a leveraged VSL. So basically having a ton of the leverage that you build with your content and email list all feeding into a single virtual sales letter to really break down your unique principles and your unique systems. Again, rather than you chasing people down, it's giving them the opportunity to raise their hands and being there when the time is right. On top of this, using what I call the invitation document. And with your invitation document, rather than you hopping on entire sales calls with people, you are basically distilling your entire philosophy into a single document. And with enough leverage, this becomes the silver bullet that makes it so you don't need to take sales calls to have people start working with you. But until you build that leverage, we use what I call the open close. The open close is basically a sales method where rather than trying to sell people on things, you are allowing them to convince themselves and collect a payment on that call. But again, this is best done when you have a ton of leverage leading up to all of this stuff with your content and really building out your brand, but then knowing how to actually lead and guide people towards making a final, concise decision. And at this point, because we get to choose who we work with, we have awesome clients, people who are actually interested in working with us, and we build with them. We genuinely grow alongside them for months and years to come in your unique tribe. And the reason why I call it a tribe is because you genuinely want to attract people that you want to work with. And when you're building with people that you want to work with and you follow these 3 steps, that's how you get people insane results. Firstly, the infinite experience. Rather than just selling people on a program that's supposed to last them 90 days or 6 months, we want to be able to have people work with you infinitely and create a replayable experience that they can always come back to and give them a reason to continue working with you by being the very best at what you do and constantly giving them resources as well as tools and mechanisms for them to use. We're going to be discussing this in more detail in episode 3, alongside the hybrid delivery formula, where rather than being stuck on one-on-one calls with people all the time, and rather than being stuck on group coaching calls all the time, and rather than just sending texts to people, we basically use a mix of all of these things to be able to help people genuinely succeed. And finally, using gamified learning. See, we've all seen the courses that have 200 plus Google Docs of information that you just have to sit through and somehow understand and memorize to be able to implement and learn from. And they call that good education, but in reality, learning should feel like a game. It should feel like fun. And when you can create learning to be fun, you have more fun creating it, and people have more fun learning the things that you want to teach them. And by being the very best at what we do, we win with our unique tribe and we get case studies. And with these case studies, we get a ton of conviction because we've gotten proof that we can do what we say we can do. And on top of that, we get the most valuable thing in any brand, period, internal insights. You basically find what has worked for your clients, what genuinely produces results, and rather than outsourcing your clarity and looking for what other people are doing, you are using what you have found to work internally to further become even more unique, become even more diverse, and genuinely become a one of one because nobody can hold a candle to who you are. And these internal insights feed back into the entire leverage brand system, but more specifically, tied directly into your unique post, which again is going to drive more traffic to your cart branding bridge, which again is going to drive more people to become customers and, commit their trust to you, who you then invite to build with you. Your unique tribe, and it all comes full circle again. So this keeps on going. This is built on evergreen business principles, and I want you to think of this as an actual ecosystem rather than a hack or business system that you use. And by truly implementing this, you are taking full advantage of Google's 7-11-4 rule, creating a business that's not just fun and fulfilling, but actually feels like play because you're working with people, and amazing people at that. And now that you understand this, it's time to start taking the very first steps towards creating your minimum viable brand. And I've queued up just a couple questions for you to ask yourselves and prepare to get the best out of the rest of the 6-part miniseries. Firstly, who is it that I want to help? Okay, how do I feel like I can actually create an impact? And more specifically, who would be a part of my tribe? Arguably, this is the most important question to ask yourself. Okay. Secondly, what is my primary short form platform? How many followers do I have on the short form platform, and how many active conversations can I start? An active conversation is starting a conversation with somebody who'd actually genuinely be interested in what you have going on. Question number 3. What is my primary long form platform? And on that long form platform, what is my monthly audience? And no, your audience isn't just subscribers. You'll find it in YouTube Studio. And these are the amount of people who return and watch your videos on a monthly cadence. And the next one, how many genuinely valuable videos have I posted? And fourthly, and the final question, how many email list subscribers do I have? And look, don't worry if one or more of these aren't where you want them to be. The entire point of this is to start making you think like a real professional creator and finding your constraints, okay? And just putting you in the mindset of a real creator who has a real tangible leverage brand. Now look, if you stuck around this far, you know ball, and you're about to find out exactly why I'm different to every other creator in the space. They want to play by the rules that other people gave to them and repeat the most generic advice and repeat the same thing everybody else is saying, all in the name of making more sales. So look, if you're here for some sort of quick hacks or quick tips to somehow make 50K in the next 10 days, then I'm sorry, this is the wrong place, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to respectfully leave. Because I'm here on a mission to lead the next generation of impact creators and rewrite the story around branding, full stop. And at the end of the day, game knows game. And if you're with it, then trust me, I got you. So look, if you found this video valuable, then go ahead, like, sub, do all that fun stuff, and keep your eyes peeled for the next episode in this series. Because once again, my goal in this mini-series is to give you everything that you need to launch, pivot, or scale to your first or next 10K a month milestone. Now, in the next video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how I attract and work with dream clients and also make it so that I stand as a one of one. I stand in the category of one in my space. And if you thought this was valuable and you're the type of person who just wants to cut straight to the point, you want to skip all this stuff and get my personal help to launch, pivot, or scale your leverage brand, then go ahead and hit the first link in the description. It's going to take you to a video breaking down exactly how Leverage Accelerator works. Right, gents, that is awesome. You can go ahead and watch the next video by either clicking here or here. And if it's not out yet, then hit that lovely subscribe button. Not one you want to miss. Cheers.